Welcome to Don't Feed After Midnight. I'm Steve.
And I'm Mike.
And we're going to talk about some Marvel theories. Spooky theories. Not spooky at all. That makes no sense. Alright, so one of the first theories that I want to cover is the one about freaking who's in that Hulk armor, that Iron Man armor. Mm-hmm. Like, we both kind of agree it's got to be Banner. It's got to be Banner in that armor.
Yep.
But, because he's like flat out refusing to turn back into Hulk.
Or he can't.
Or he asked Doctor Strange to make it so he can't.
Or Thanos. Thanos could have beat the shit out of him so hard that he just, he's reverted to Banner, but he can't muster up the anger to trigger the Hulk or something, you know?
You gotta wonder. I mean, I would assume that.
Because at that point, he has the Power Stone. Hulk would have never experienced anything that tough until that moment.
But all it would have done was make Hulk more angry, because Hulk doesn't get afraid of shit.
But you can knock Hulk silly.
Well, yes, I mean...
and put him on his ass until he's it's happened before.
Well, in the comic books, Hyperion punched him so fucking hard he reverted to Banner.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like he just flat
theoretically.
No, the Hulk was unconscious. Banner's mind took over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he just gets knocked out cold as Hulk, and sent back to Earth. Wakes up as Banner, and he's like, "Shit, I'm upset right now, but I can't go Hulk." Like at this point, I think he basically requires a near-death experience
to turn. And you think that's what happens? Like he gets attacked and beaten so badly, he almost fucking dies.
Yeah,
and it triggers the Hulk transformation.
Yep,
because the Hulk's like, "I gotta save us. I'm not gonna let us die."
That's why I think it happens like that. Because, well, for one, I do not see the Hulk being as ridiculously childish and silly as he is, while being as rageful as he is. And having full control of that suit to the point where he knows to put his hands up and shoot lasers.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah,
it's a little ridiculous.
No, the Hulk he would rip it off in anger.
He wouldn't care.
So you got to wonder, where does the Scarlet Witch? The Scarlet Witch was in the Wakanda battle, wasn't she? Didn't it just show her in there?
Yeah, she's more like defending Vision, though, from what they've shown.
But she was not.
Mantis could be there.
Because that's the thing. If Mantis is there, she can just put her hands up.
She could manipulate
him. Anger.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what happened. Because Hulk was with Thor. Does Thanos pick the Hulk up and throw him out of the ship toward the Earth?
That's what I heard is happening. Because they showed a new TV spot, and they show Thor, that Asgardian ship that they left on in Ragnarok. They got a new scene from there, and it's only 2 seconds, but you see the Hulk looking like happy, angry. He's glad there's somebody to fight. So he's obviously going to go after Thanos in that scene. And I think the immediate thing to happen is either one, he goes to fight, gets his ass beat, and Thanos literally grabs him up and just
throws him out of the ship.
Throws him out. Or at this point, he knocks him silly, knocks him back and whatever. Loki hands over the Space Stone or the Tesseract. And he pops it, puts it in the gauntlet, and then he literally throws Hulk back to Earth.
Yeah, it could be. Either way, Hulk would definitely fell from orbit.
Oh, yeah. Hulk is definitely... Because that's... I mean, it's like what happened with Silver Surfer in the comics.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost identical.
Well, that's what they're doing. Yeah, because the Silver Surfer doesn't exist. Silver Surfer doesn't
exist. That's another little thing. That ties in to the whole theory conversation. I just seen some random website a couple days ago. I mean, it ain't confirmed, obviously, or anything, but just out of nowhere, this website came up with a casting listing for the entirety of the movie.
Oh.
And in that listing, there is an actor, according to this list, credited as Silver Surfer. And the actor is legit. It's not like a fake actor or anything. Like
it's Josh Henderson. I know. He's gonna shave off the beard, and he's gonna be fucking Norrin Rad. I mean, I'm sure he would love to paint himself silver.
I think if they were gonna add in Silver Surfer, it would be ideal to have him not in this movie. If they've already replaced his role with Hulk informing everybody.
Well, yeah.
I mean, so maybe not have him in the entirety of the movie, but have him like in a post credit, like sitting in space watching over, like shit.
Can't they bring in Galactus? They can bring up some of these older.
See, that's the thing. Fox, the Fox deal with Disney hasn't completed yet, and I don't think it's done till next year.
But the movie's not going to come out for another 2 years. Next movie, right?
Yeah. The next one's next year.
What? Oh,
there's only 2 movies in between Infinity War and Avengers 4. It's going to be real quick.
Well, the thing is that it's guaranteed that they're going to have access to those characters. It's just guaranteed.
Well,
right?
Think about it. See, the deal finishes, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have access immediately. Or not that they don't have access, but they can't. I don't think they can do anything with the characters until that deal is through. Like they can't even film it until that deal is through. Unless they do what they did with Spider-Man. Don't tell anybody. Cut a side deal with Fox that while this deal is going into effect, we get to use these 2 characters. And then Fox is like, whatever, you're going to get the shit anyway. And, because that could easily happen. And I think that would be really cool if, like, even if they brought in Galactus for a end credit where, like, Silver Surfer like sees the shit go down on Earth and he's like, fuck,
and he turns
around and you just see a big ass purple helmet and you're like, oh.
This is the thing, they have to bring in the Infinity Gauntlet. If they try to do this without the Elders of the Universe, it's going to be fucking stupid. I'm sorry.
Or at least, see, that's the thing. In Guardians, they kind of touched on the idea that Ego is. Well, they retconned Ego as a Celestial,
which isn't true.
It wasn't comic canon.
No, he's not a Celestial, and he was created by the fucking Grandmaster. Or no, Grandmaster, who created him? Ego's an artificial creation. He wasn't existing at the beginning of time. Ego was created.
Yeah, and they totally retconned that to like he was around since fucking forever as a brain, and he fucking developed himself into a planet.
That's weird. That was really kind of strange.
And I guess something they touched on in the movie though was something along the lines of he is the last living Celestial.
That's what?
And it's like, and I don't know what that entails though, because I don't know if that means they're not counting certain god beings, like if they're just changing the terminology for the movies. So like Celestial could just be a powerful being from space, whereas like Eternity is like something totally different, or Infinity is something totally different. Or
the Stranger created Ego. I'm sorry, the Stranger created Yet to See, which is like that old Superman with the mustache looking thing.
Yep,
looking guy, and nobody knows who he is or what he is. But
I wonder what they're gonna do as far as like the gods of man, like if they're gonna include that, because Odin's dead.
Yeah.
So it's not like he can gather the forces. Unless Thor did it and was like...
The thing is, because they can't just introduce fucking Hercules in the middle of nowhere.
That's why I have such a tough time with this.
They could do a standalone Hercules movie with ties into the MCU, which would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because Hercules is a hard-drinking, womanizing, borderline Lobo-esque character, almost Wolverine-type character, where he's a hero.
Right.
But he doesn't fucking care about shit. Like he literally is drunk half the time.
It's kind of funny because like the real like Greek Hercules was an asshole like that too.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's interesting because they have this whole other part of they could tap Ego, and then have this adventure with Ego. They could also tap Eon, which is Quasar's.
Yeah, that's another person they got to touch on, Quasar.
The quantum bands,
and
they could do that in Captain Marvel.
That's the thing. They've changed Quasar in the comics multiple times, though. It's at some points it's been a dude, some points it's been a chick.
Yeah.
It just depends on what they'd want to do, because they're looking for more like culturally diverse representation. They probably go with the chick route. But I mean, either way, we haven't seen Quasar.
I know. I mean, I'd love to see a female Quasar. Just. I don't know. Just the idea of Quasar in and of itself is a fun, fun way to go. Because I mean, you could have him be Rick Jones for all I care. Right. That's the other thing. We haven't seen Rick Jones, have we? At all, which is kind of fun. Because Rick Jones was, obviously, and Captain Marvel, or Marvel, the male Captain Marvel, shared a body. So when Rick could transform and release Captain Marvel, and his body would go to whoever it was. Negative zone, I think it was. And it's I don't know. The thing is that the quantum bands draw energy from the negative zone. So if they do the quantum bands in... is it the quantum bands that do that? Yeah, no, okay. Quasar's powers are derived from the pair of quantum bands. Quasar's quantum bands are permanently affixed to his wrists. While he can make light bend around them so they appear to be invisible, they're still tangible. They're linked to the wearer's nervous system and grant tremendous power of energy manipulation. The wristbands were originally created by Eon to be worn by his designated protector of the universe. Okay. Quantum bands were discovered by the Uranian Eternals in a weapons depot left by alien Kree. Okay, so because I had thought, because this is the thing, the Kree, you have the Kree War or whatever.
Yeah.
With Captain Marvel, they can introduce the quantum bands.
They could. I feel like that would be more Easter egg material, though.
It'd be fun to have them.
I mean, at least to see them.
Well, yeah.
That'd be sweet.
There's so much shit they can do. I don't even know what we were talking about at this point. I went completely off topic.
That's how we do it.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, this is Paul Ritchie, and you're listening to Don't Feed After Midnight. But the rules don't apply to me. Feed me anytime.
Well, see, and with Infinity War, I heard Captain Marvel was in the original cut of the film.
Yeah.
About 8 months ago, she was in it.
Oh.
And since then, they've removed her cut. Like, she's not in any scenes, I guess.
Blah.
And if she is, she's probably a real post-credit leading into her movie. Just because, I mean, it's Infinity War, Ant-Man 2, and Captain Marvel. So she's really soon. She's like, she comes out this time next year. And then Avengers 4 is like...
Yeah.
Next year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
really close.
It's right around the Motor City Comic Con. It's like this year. Deadpool's premiering the freaking day Comic Con opens.
It's insane.
That Friday. So, like, literally...
Everybody's going to go.
People are going to go to the con.
And then immediately go see the movie.
And then Saturday, everybody's going to be going apeshit crazy.
Yep. About like, holy shit, did you see?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're not going to see that for a while.
Yeah.
With the con going on, we're just too busy.
Too busy.
Yeah.
Work and all that.
Yeah. Selling my wife's art, making money.
What other theories we got?
I was thinking about how Cap's eyes are yellow when he's kind of pushing Thanos' arm away. Is it the reflection of the gauntlet, or is it his eyes yellow?
I think it could be one of two things, and I don't think it's the Soul Stone. I still hold out hope that it's either Heimdall has the Soul Stone or the vibranium meteor houses the Soul Stone. Mm-hmm. Both of those seem logical to me.
Yeah.
The reason I don't think it's Cap, though, more than anything, is because he's in Wakanda. Very orange and yellow kind of horizon there at all times. Like, you're just from the movies, like, or from Black Panther in general, like, the whole horizon at that time of day is like a golden orange almost. So I could see, like, if the reflection of what they're trying to capture shows, like, more yellow side. Because I know there's the other shot where it's green, or, like, bluish eyes, and then it cuts to that side shot where he's gripping the gauntlet, and it's, like, you can see it, the orange tinge to his eye. And it, like, at first I was like, what the hell? But, I mean, the more I look at it, the more I'm kind of like, it's either the reflection of the gauntlet on his eyes, or it's the horizon in the distance.
Plus, the Soul Stone in the MCU is going to be orange, won't it?
Yeah.
So that wouldn't even make sense. It's interesting.
That's why I was thinking, like, it's got to be Heimdall or the, what's it called? It's got to be in the Vibranium or Heimdall.
Yeah, because, I mean...
Heimdall's got the orange eyes, and one of the first establishing character things that you learn about him in the MCU, he can see every soul in the 9 realms.
This is the soul, yeah.
He specifically said the souls of everybody in the 9 realms.
Huh.
And that was a really interesting choice of words, if you ask me. Like, he could have said, I can see everybody within the 9 realms. Or I can see every living person, or he said every soul in the 9 realms. Very interesting choice of words, Heimdall. Plus 10.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus 10 points to Gryffindor.
This is terrible.
But, and the reason I think it would make sense to be in the vibranium is because it's underneath the soil that they've developed this, like, this flower that can fucking send people back to the fucking astral plane where they can see their dead relatives. Like, it's just, why are the people in Wakanda allowed to eat this flower broth and then go back and talk to their grandpas and grandmas and shit, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of fishy that, like, there's that connection there with their past, like, ancestors.
Well, but think about it this way, though. In Thor's vision in the Age of Ultron movie, Heimdall's blind.
Yeah.
Could it be because Thanos took the Soul Stone from him and he was blind without it? Was he born blind? And
That's
Odin
another
gave him
thing, though.
the Soul Stone?
They, like, implied that was during Ragnarok in Age of Ultron. Like, he said something about, like, Asgard is dead, this is your fault, you brought Ragnarok upon us, and this and that. Yeah.
Oh, in his vision, though.
Yeah. In the vision, it was implied that it was, like, supposed to be during the events of Thor 3. And that's why he goes off on his quest. I mean, it's one of them things that you gotta wonder now, like, what if Heimdall, Valkyrie, and all them escape the Asgard ship, and then that scene happens, and Thor sees it all, and he's like, oh shit, like, you guys lost the Soul Stone and this and that, and it'd just be crazy. Also, why the fuck is vibranium, like, why is vibranium the source of everything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? That's another reason. I gotta think there's some other power at work here.
Yeah.
I mean, and I feel like they're changing the whole definition of the Soul Stone, or what it does.
They've screwed with all that.
Because they've changed with all of it. Because, like, Adam Warlock, I don't think he's going to have the Soul Stone in his forehead, because they swapped that with Vision and the Mind Gem, you know?
Exactly.
They completely changed that.
And the thing is, Adam uses the Soul Stone a lot, like, to reincarnate, like, at least 2 or 3 times.
And that's a little ridiculous. They already said they're not going to dive too deep into the whole bringing people back aspect of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like, oh, Spider-Man's dead, bring him back.
The thing is, though, is, like, if they have Thanos worshipping death the way he does in the regular, Universe 616, then if they do decide to bring death back, like, actually have death be a woman, a physical embodiment of a woman, that Thanos is trying to impress, whether he actually sees her or if he's just insane, is always in question. But if they do, because then Death could simply go, she could just not be impressed by what Thanos is doing or be pissed about it, and
I can see that.
Start bringing people back, which is another option.
I can see it. I don't know. I feel like they're totally taking a total opposite direction with Thanos. Like, instead of him being the big bad guy that knows he's the big bad guy and he just wants to fuck shit up
because he's insane,
because he's crazy, and he likes to like getting Death impressed is what gets his rocks off. Like, he just wants to impress her.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're changing that to where he is a conscious dude that knows what he's doing, and he truly believes he's right in doing it. He doesn't want to kill half the universe, but he knows he has to, I feel like that's the kind of angle they're going to try to spin it with. Because they said this movie is going to basically be Thanos' movie. It's not going to be a
Thanos quest.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. It's going to be the Thanos quest.
Yeah. I want to see him wipe Xandar from the fucking map and just destroy everything.
I fully expect that to be the first 5 minutes. I fully expect that to be the first 5 minutes. Just wham! Like Nova Prime, like I ain't giving you shit. he's like, bitch. Punches a hole through her chest.
And this is another thing. There's that scene in the trailer where Thanos has Thor by the head, like a child.
Yeah.
And he's showing something to Thor. Did he
Thor's
slaughter?
Like screaming.
Is it because he slaughtered all the Asgardians, or is it because Loki's handing him the last Infinity Gem, and Thor's like, no, don't do that?
I think.
Or is it because he kills Loki?
I think it's because he kills Loki, and
And that makes Thor the last.
I think he makes him watch it. Like, and I think it's brutal as shit too, because
that would make sense.
Well, when they show Thanos take off his helmet in that one scene, he's clearly on the Asgardian ship, and he's clearly like in the aftermath of it because you can see the flame and shit behind him.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the Asgardians are dead at that point. Yeah. So he walks up, and then his squad's got Loki cornered. Thanos and Thor probably try to get into it for a second, and Thanos just grips him up by his fucking head.
Yeah, well, if he has the Power Stone already,
he ain't doing shit.
Touch him. And the thing is, though, is like, but Loki has the Tesseract. He has the Space Stone, but he's not able to master it. He can't.
Yeah, he has no clue how to do it. That's why Thanos is so fucking powerful most of the times, because he knows, like, it's like he studied the shit without ever having it. I mean, he had the Tesseract, actually, because he's the one that, he had the Mind Gem. He had the Scepter.
And that's the other thing that's interesting. Yeah, the Power Stone is so powerful, like, you can't, like, one mortal being cannot physically hold it without dying. But
if anybody's going to hold it, I think it'll be fucking Captain Marvel.
But the rest of the gems aren't like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, the Power Gem will fucking explode you if you're not strong enough.
Yeah, to like, control the power or whatever.
But the reality gem, it'll just absorb you, and you'll just become pure, like, you'll become pure power. That's what happened to, what's his name? Malekith and Thor 2.
That's very true.
He took it, and it gave him, like, Thor's strength and shit. Like, it was the only reason he could fight Thor.
Oh, yeah.
Because he fucking
dark elf,
absorbed the ether.
So, and in amongst all of this craziness going on, you brought up something interesting today that I hadn't even thought about. Okay, like, freaking the ages of some of these people. Scarlet Witch was, like, what, 15 or 16? 16
when she was first
in Civil War.
No, right? In Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
When her and her brother died, when she was watching her brother die, they were both 16. So
she's 17 in Civil War, right?
Yes.
Which is creepy because she envisioned her having kind of like
totally in a consensual
moments,
thing.
Really creepy moments. But then again, Vision at that point is only 3, so who's more the asshole?
Right. I ain't gonna say there's double standards, but there's double standards.
He's a child.
He's child.
3 years old. Tony at this point is 47 years old.
Yep, old as can be.
Oh, hey there, young fella. Bringing me good news today?
Which is bad.
Which is biologically 15 years older than Cap. Mm-hmm. That's disgusting.
And Cap's aging is slow, too.
Yeah.
The oldest one there is Don Cheadle's. Is the Falcon is... No, Don Cheadle's
War Machine. Cheadle's War Machine.
War Machine.
49.
49 years
That's
old.
That's insane. He's 50 years old with a busted spine and, like,
in
broken legs.
That's
and he's just flying around in armor. Beating ass. He's probably gonna die.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, there's no Iron Man movie slated to come out, are there?
No, I think what they're gonna do with Tony is they're gonna leave him for cameos.
Yeah,
and he's more like gonna be he might be the founder of the new Shield.
That's true.
And he could just show up for small appearances, kind of like Samuel Jackson.
Mm-hmm. That's actually a really good idea. Because there's no reason Robert Downey Jr. cannot play that role for a long time.
Yeah.
You just see his damn face anyway.
So he could just be Director Stark.
Precisely.
That'd be sweet.
You know, every now and then he's got to put on the Patriot armor and go out and kick it.
Oh my gosh.
And there's another fun theory that we found on Reddit. Okay, you explained about Captain America possibly being Star-Lord's grandfather. And this is legit.
Well,
it's not canon.
Nothing about it is canon.
But it's fucking interesting because the woman that was a dancer that caught Cap's eyes in the first movie played Star-Lord's mom, right?
The same actress that played the dancer plays Star-Lord's mom.
So it could have been her descendant. So Cap could have hooked up with this chick, and then
she had a baby.
Which was a girl. Who became Star-Lord's mom.
And then married into the Quill name. Mm-hmm. And then had Peter.
That'd be freaking
That'd be ridiculous.
That'd be hilarious.
If he finds out, like, Grandpa Steve.
Oh, okay. Can I borrow money? You know, that's exactly what he would do.
Oh my god,
that's insane. I mean, it's really freaking reaching.
Grandpa Steve, why are you so young?
Yeah, right, you're younger than me. I thought that was kind of cool. There's a lot of stuff about the Guardians of the Galaxy that have kind of slipped out. Like, what's his name? Is James Gunn came out and said that Groot is not the same Groot. He's not a reincarnation.
Yeah, he came out on Twitter and was like, when Groot died in Guardians 1, he actually died.
Yeah.
He just let off one sapling to be his son. And that sapling grew into what we know as Groot right now. So he has no memory of Groot's life.
Yeah.
He's new Groot. So it's, I don't know, it's neat.
It's kind of interesting.
But it's interesting, too, because Vin Diesel is confirmed in the cast listing for Infinity War and Avengers 4. So it makes you wonder if, like, Doctor Strange is going to do some kind of time stone warping on his age.
Oh.
And, like, age him up. Like, I mean, that's a weird kind of way to use the time stone, but you could do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not like a rubber band. You can't. It doesn't. You don't change something and then have to go back and revert it. You can change something and freaking leave it.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Well, and that's kind of what he did with the thing at the end of his movie was, you know, Dormammu was about to absorb the real world, and he was just like, "Hold up, I got a bargain." Yeah, it was really neat though. I think it would be cool though if like small references like that came out. I also heard that in Captain Marvel, they just casted 3 people that have been in Marvel movies before. They casted Coulson. Coulson's gonna be in Captain Marvel.
Really? Well, that's fun.
They casted Ronan, the Accuser, because it's set in the 90s, so it's way before.
So they cast Ronan. Really?
Yeah, so it's set like maybe 15 years before Guardians when he shows up with Thanos.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so it's his early years. They've also casted the African actor that was in Guardians that was like, who are you? And he was like, I'm a Star-Lord.
Dude. Yeah, he's cool looking.
Yeah, he's in all them, like, I don't know, I don't even want to sound messed up, but he's in all them African movies. Like, he was in, I think he was in Blood Diamond. Right?
Yeah, he's swole too. He's big.
Yeah, he is. He's a big dude. Yeah, he's casted for it, so that'll be interesting. I seen someone was like, "Oh, it'd be sweet if Yondu were involved because he was involved with the Kree and whatever." But it's already confirmed that like Yondu's the one that picked up Peter from Earth, and that was after his years with the Kree, so it's kind of like too late for that.
I'm waiting to see the possibility of them doing a secret invasion. If they introduce the Skrulls, they don't have to introduce.
That's what it's going to be, though.
They don't have to.
That's what it's going to be.
Because you have the Kree-Skrull War.
Yeah, I seen someone else said. Speaking of theories, there's that line in Winter Soldier where Cap's talking to Fury, and Fury says, "Last time I trusted someone, I lost my eye." And there's a theory that a Skrull takes the appearance of Nick Fury back then. And to prove that he's Nick Fury, he gouges his eye out. And then that's what, like, proves it. Like, on the spot. Like, the Skrull's not going to yank his fucking eye out to prove a point. So Nick Fury yanks it. Because it sounds like a misdirection saying, the last time I trusted somebody, I lost my eye.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, what does that even fucking mean anyway?
Exactly. That's why it's kind of like anything. It's ambiguous.
The idea of doing this the Skrull invasion thing is that you've got different Marvel movies and you can put them in these different Marvel movies.
Oh yeah.
Individual standalone movies that flow into one another. You can do a Spider-Man movie with him fighting a Skrull version either of himself or somebody else.
Yeah.
And him trying to figure everything out.
Or even explain that, like, this guy you've seen in the background of these 3 movies, he's actually just a Skrull spy.
Yeah.
And he's just fucking creeping
you could
on
have
these
the
heroes.
end. You could have the end of the Spider-Man movie lead into the beginning of a Captain America movie, which at the end of that could lead into the beginning of, an X-Men movie when introduce the Fantastic Four or something. So there's a lot of it. You could literally have them do a bunch of little mini, like, after credit scene to lead up to the introduction of the Fantastic Four. Just tease us. and then suddenly, boom, you've got a Fantastic Four versus Skrulls kind of movie, you know.
Well, they did just start the official reboot for the Fantastic Four comics, which they only took it down because they stopped doing the movies before.
Yeah.
So now that they're done with now that they're done with that period where they're not making movies, so they're not making comics. Now they're back to making comics. What's next? The movies.
And exactly, and those idiots at Fox aren't gonna, be able to fuck up a Fantastic Four movie again just to keep the freaking.
I'm so indifferent because it seems
franchise.
like it's fucked up because it seems like the one franchise they couldn't get right, truthfully, was the Fantastic Four.
Well, they rushed it. That's the thing, though, is that they didn't know how to make a freaking good movie, and then they
rushed into the sequel so hard.
Well, they did it on purpose too. Like the first movie with Jessica Alba was not bad.
I love
it was
Alba.
Interesting, and then the next movie was like
Captain America was the best part of that movie. Okay, Chris Evans
as a fantastic Human Torch.
He was so good in that movie.
And then the other movies after they're bad. They're just bad. I mean, the one that came out was like direct to DVD. Was really horrible. Then
there was the one.
Then they had the recent one where they made
with Michael B. Jordan.
Yep.
And they made the family mixed.
Yeah.
They made the dad black and the mom white. So Sue was white and Johnny was black.
The thing is that anybody that knows anything about genetics that knows that's not how that works. She would have
totally invaded the family. That's all it was.
That's not how that works. You don't have like one white kid and one African American kid. You have mixed kids.
It's happened though.
I bullshit. I
got a mixed cousin that looks black, and then his sister's like totally white. It's funky. I don't know. It's like one day the dad's genes just decided to shut off. It's so weird, but
there's no way.
But no, they kind of like forced that in. They shouldn't have did it.
No, it was an unnecessary change in the character. That's the equivalent of like literally like saying okay, because it's the equivalent of saying okay,
you ain't gonna make Winter Soldier a chick.
We're gonna make Winter Soldier a chick, or we're gonna introduce Wolverine to the MCU, but it's gonna be a woman.
Right.
Not X-23, but a female Wolverine.
Or even changing Winter Soldier from Bucky to someone else. You don't do it.
It's not because people aren't ready to accept a black superhero. It's because you're taking something that's a staple of society, a staple of our reading,
nerd
comics
culture,
a staple of nerd culture, and literally just flipping it to be politically correct, or because you think it'll be a neat idea.
Yeah.
And it's not a neat idea. It's a stupid idea. And that was one of the main reasons that the movie failed, is because nerds everywhere were like, "What the fuck are you doing? What?
You're messing with source material."
That's the thing. I mean, we're nerds as a group, or we're already sticklers for shit like that. You don't run a D&D campaign but give everybody laser guns. You just don't do shit like that, unless you're a really bad DM. You can't you don't mess with franchises like that. You don't adjust things and tweak things to suit your own thing.
And now, the MCU does change a lot of source material, but it's different.
But the characters are solid.
They're working around rights when they do it.
Yeah.
A lot of the time we can't use this character. So what do? We role swap them with this character. Or, for example, Civil War ended with Cap's death. Mm-hmm. And Tony was mourning his death. Instead, it's the death of their friendship. And it's like...
Yeah, I know.
It's...
And it's not that the Fantastic Four are perfect. They're a white bread family. They're annoyingly just plain 1950s, 60s,
just
white bread
scientists
America.
And privileged white kids.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. But except for Ben Grimm,
Ben is the only one who wasn't privileged.
Exactly.
And even then, they treated him like an outcast the whole time because he was the thing, and he just was a big ass rock.
Yeah,
you're ugly.
I mean, they could do a Fantastic Four movie, keep everybody status quo. Mm-hmm. And introduce the MCU Hulk into that, which would be fun. And you can have the Hulk be kind of smart, where he's like he was in Ragnarok, where he's just like, "You're dumb, you're a bad friend,"
I think if they're gonna introduce the Fantastic Four, they shouldn't be adults. They shouldn't be kids either. They should be mid-late teens, kind of like Scarlet Witch's age.
Yeah, and just have them go through. Have them have
gain their power. I want to see them gain their powers the normal way again.
Yep, being in space.
Yeah, you see the waves come through. They gain their power. I'm happy with that. I was actually really happy that the original Fox Fantastic Four followed that. Where they're on their mission out in space. Ben gets stuck outside. They gotta let him in. The wave just takes all of them, gives them all powers and shit. Even Doom's kind of fucked. Like, that's a whole other character. Like,
well, Doom wasn't up there though with them in the original comic. Doom was on.
Yeah,
Doom had nothing to do
he was
with
totally separate. But I mean, they bridged the gap there, and they gave reason for Doom to hate them in the movie. So, I mean, at least if you're gonna change the source material, give a reason beyond. Oh, we decided.
Exactly.
Like, it has to tie in. It just seems like bullshit when you're like, oh well, we'd rather cast this guy just because, and it's like, come on, man. The Ultron Theory. I don't think I told you. Well, I think you've touched on this before, but I read more into the Ultron Theory for Avengers 3 or 4.
Really?
Where Vision, he has his consciousness and whatever through Jarvis and Ultron and the Mind Gem and all that shit combined. And there's a theory that when Thanos gets the Mind Gem and pops it into the gauntlet, Ultron's just going to take over Vision's body because he's an android. He still has Ultron within him.
Yeah, but he's also primarily Jarvis too, though, right? He's a combination of the two.
Ultron ate the shit out of Jarvis in that. Oh. You know what I mean? So maybe Ultron's just sitting dormant, like he doesn't know.
Well, I'm sure he's sitting dormant somewhere in the MCU.
Yeah. Even if they explain it where Ultron wasn't a dumbass and had one robot on the other side of the Earth. So they wouldn't know. But, I know in a recent cartoon for Infinity Gauntlet, they showed Iron Man used, I forget what the name of it was, but it was one of the robots that his dad built for him when he was a kid. And he repurposed it into something that could absorb any energy. So Thanos is shooting pure energy out of the gauntlet at the Avengers.
Yeah.
And this robot is just sucking it in, you really thought you were gonna hurt me? I can't be hurt by anything. I absorb all the energy. And he just shoots it back at Thanos, and Thanos is like, what the fuck? And then eventually they get Thanos back to Earth, and they get the gauntlet off of him, and they're beating the shit out of him as a team.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, Tony's robot grips up the gauntlet and puts it on, and they're like, "You're supposed to give it back to me." And he's like, "No." And then he turns into Ultron on the spot, and then he's like, "You put me inside. You unknowingly put me inside the robot that can absorb any energy, and because this gauntlet is pure energy, he just sucks the gauntlet's energy into himself, straight out of the stones. You watch the stones dull, because he sucks all of the energy out of them.
Oh wow!
And it's Ultron just became Omega Ultron, and it's
massive, powerful thing.
It's how the fuck are you gonna fight that?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I seen an interesting theory that what's going to end up happening is Ultron's going to be they're going to do the Thanos quest, Infinity Gauntlet kind of storyline for 3 and probably half of 4. But rather than have the good ending where Adam Warlock steps in and ends the shit, they're going to have Ultron step in, grip the gauntlet, and then Thanos and all of them are going to have to team up to beat the shit out of Ultron.
Because that's what happened in the Infinity Gauntlet comic that I just loaned you, where Nebula...
Nebula got it, so they had to team up.
Nebula was crazy as shit, though, because it's not the Nebula we know from the MCU. Thanos had tortured her.
Yeah, totally,
mercilessly.
Turned her into a fucking barnacle.
He, melted her face, half her jaw, and half her face is all skeletal and exposed.
Yeah, she was fucked up.
Her eyes are melted shut. He tortured her.
And I don't think they're gonna get that graphic in the movie. You know, I think it would make more sense if they had like Vision there.
Yeah.
And he just stripped him down to his android body, you know?
Ripped him apart.
Like, just turned him down to his bare bones. And because he's an android, you can't be like, oh, that's gory and this and that. No, he's a robot. Like,
exactly.
So get him down to that point, and then he just, like, grips it up and turns into fucking Ultron, and you're like...
I think they're going to go the Ultron route with Vision in this, too. I think once that stone is removed from his body, he's going to become and that'll be like a B story of Scarlet
Unless
Witch.
Shuri... early on, and when she meets him, figures out like there's something else at play here. But that's the only way I could see it not happening.
She doesn't know his programming code or anything about him anyway, though. That's the thing. Like it's not exactly. It's not like Tony's like, I want to put this on the World Wide Web. This is his operating system. You know, like they. You know,
right. But that's the thing, though. All she's got to do is put a chip on him, and she can see the entirety of him.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. That'd be a good B story. Is Scarlet Witch trying to get Vision to remember who he is.
Mm-hmm. Or even Mantis trying to like shut him down, and he's an android.
So she would,
she gets killed. She gets killed in the process. Oh,
she's gonna die.
I hope not.
I know. I love her as a character. She's funny.
And she's super
can see
cute.
her touching Thanos and trying to make Thanos go to sleep, and him just like picking her up and going, you know.
I hear Dave Bautista is trying to go back to the WWE, so they're saying that he could potentially die. But I'm calling bullshit because they already filmed Avengers 4.
And The Rock goes back and forth. The Rock doesn't go back now. He's done wrestling, but he used to go back.
He still comes back for appearances every other month.
Oh, yeah, but it's not like he's not in the ring slamming around. Because when you reach a certain age in your body, you want to
ain't gonna do it.
You don't want to be like Ric Flair and be held together by spit and hope. You know, like
Ric Flair looks like Nebula. And
oh my God, he does. That poor man. He got some big tiggies too.
He went from like a excited woo to a whoa.
I know. I feel bad. Well, he's old. I mean, those wrestlers get the shit beat out of them. You know.
Oh yeah.
It was.
He was in his 60s, carving his forehead so he could bleed out in the matches.
That's bad.
That's fucking insane.
That's insane. Yeah, so there's gonna be some interest. We're not gonna know anything until the freaking movie comes out.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing's gonna slip out because the thing is the people that are really fans of it, even the ones that want to know, are not gonna want to ruin it for everybody else or themselves. Yeah. I don't want to know. I want to know as much as I can without knowing anything. Exactly.
Like I want to get to that point and then see it in the movie and be like, whoa, like no,
it's freaking amazing.
That's so good.
It's the opposite of Walking Dead, where I'm like, I just don't care anymore. I just want to watch and just I saw it.
I love it.
It is bad.
I love it. Nope. Everything about it has been great this season. I don't know why you're crazy.
You are out of your mind. It's as bad as The Farm. It's as bad as season 2.
The Farm wasn't even that bad. I was slow. But this ain't slow. When Rick fucking crashed his car into Negan, I almost fucking ejaculated.
That's so horrible.
I was like, Rick!
Now we got to talk about that in another
Rage
podcast.
boner.
That was good. Rage boner. I am turgid watching this.
I'm just walking around bonered.
Oh my God,
Mike,
horrible.
sit down. I'm like,
I can't. My leg is turgid.
I'm numb.
Oh my God. Yeah, that show, I don't know.
I think it's been the best it's been action-wise, though, in the past 2 seasons.
Oh, well, yeah. They've been in jack in the past 2 seasons. I think this Marvel Universe shit, I think they're going to introduce a ton of new characters, and they're not telling us about them. I think if they're smart, they'll take advantage of the fact that DC has really fucking dropped the ball as far as Batman is concerned. You know? And I think they should introduce
That's why
Moon
I think
Knight.
they should, because it'll take too long for DC to catch a Batman movie.
And Moon Knight would be very fun to do because you can have the detective noir aspect of it, but then also the completely insane alter ego. Because Mark Spector is freaking crazy. You know, he goes just nuts because he doesn't want to be Moon Knight. You know, he doesn't want to be that person, but that Egyptian god is basically like, you're going to be my bitch now.
You're going to do it. Like
you agreed to do this, so guess what? You know, you have to do it. And it's just, he creates this need in Mark to go out and fight. And I thought Moon Knight was kind of interesting. It's a bit of a Batman pastiche, but not as bad as like Hyperion is, where he's just freaking Superman. He's just obviously Superman.
Right.
That's another thing I'd like to see. I'd like to see them do a Squadron Sinister or a nod to Squadron Sinister. Which is if everybody listening doesn't know, Squadron Sinister was created by the Grandmaster, himself, Grandmaster, the great Grandmaster, because he wanted to have somebody fight the Avengers. So he created, actually pulled from an alternate universe, Hyperion, Powered Princess, not Night Owl. Was it Night Owl? It was Night Owl. And like a speedster basically, and it's the Flash, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman. Is what it is. What they are. They're just the Marvel Universe versions of them. So they're pastiches of them. So it was a way for them to do Marvel versus DC without actually doing Marvel versus DC. So they had Hyperion, who was, they basically explained that Hyperion is an Eternal. And has a lot of powers, and he's just an Argonite and all this stuff. But he's just Superman,
Right.
But he's pre-Crisis Superman. The man like literally held apart two universes from colliding.
Yeah.
I mean, he's crazy powerful. He's so powerful he can punch the Hulk once and knock the Hulk back into being Bruce Banner. That's incredibly powerful, But it'd be fun to just do a nod to him, like have the Grandmaster be playing with them on a planet somewhere in the background or something. Start introducing these characters little by little by little. Have freaking like, you've got Daredevil, these low level characters, Luke Cage and all them. That's fine. They're great where they are. They're fine where they are. But you can do like the Hand, and introduce them,
well, they got introduced.
Yeah, but in the Marvel universe, though. Really? Well,
all of the Daredevil season 2. That's all.
I'm not talking about Netflix. I'm talking about the movies.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, but they're tied to Elektra, and Elektra actually killed their leader.
Yeah.
So,
but she's a Skrull.
Huh? She's a Skrull. Oh my god.
Everyone is a Skrull. Fucking Skrulls.
Well, fucking Daredevil got a building collapsed on him and fucking survived somehow. So I guess he's a Skrull.
They do such stupid shit in those.
Well, I think they're going the spin where Elektra used the last of whatever the Hand was using to revive her, to revive him, and that's why he's alive.
Is he like waking up in bed next to his mom or something like that?
He wakes up in bed at a missionary and they ask for his mom. I'm just curious as to what their spin with that is, because we don't even know until Daredevil season 3. Luke Cage is in July season 2.
I thought it was out already.
No, Jessica just dropped. So it's Luke in July. Something I was thinking about while you were talking about the Eternals and shit. How great would it be at the end of Avengers 4 in the post credits to see Thanos with like a gardening hoe as a farmer?
Isn't that great? That so ending was hilarious.
Or just like a slow moving shot through a field, and then you see the Thanos armor on a scarecrow.
I did like that a lot.
That'd be so cool. Oh man, the things I would do.
So I mean, you could do Mark Spector as Moon Knight. You could do Black Bolt.
They did him, and it failed.
Well, you just ignore that. That doesn't count. You could have the Inhumans on the moon.
I'm so upset that it does count. I'm so pissed that it counts. Fucking FX.
You could just fucking skip Venom altogether and just do goddamn Carnage.
I'm pissed that Carnage is the bad guy of Venom. And it's a scary movie. It's not even a fucking...
You could do Taskmaster.
Oh.
He'd be fun.
That'd be sweet.
With his white skull and and his complete knowledge of all of Captain America's moves, Hawkeye's abilities.
They need to bring back Red Skull, man.
That would be fun to do.
Because I'm pretty sure they confirmed that he is out there somewhere. And he's like, we don't know where he is or if he's pulling strings in another galaxy or something. But we know he went out somewhere. So it's like...
I mean, they could even do a Netflix series first. Some of them, like, I don't know, some people want to see, like, Sleepwalker, which is a very, I don't know, Sleepwalker is a very obscure kind of character. This guy goes to sleep. When he goes to sleep, this alien comes out of his dreams and fights crime in reality.
That's ridiculous.
It's a dumb idea. And the colors are 1990s.
Oh, my God.
You could do Cloak and Dagger.
They're doing it.
What?
They're doing it. You didn't see the trailer?
No, I see no damn trailer.
I don't know if it's a Hulu exclusive show or whatever it is, but they're doing Cloak and Dagger. It's a series.
That would be sweet.
It's a young black teen dude and a white chick, and they go to the same high school, I think. And they find out when something goes down, but they go to touch hands or something, and they fucking explode. And they're like, oh, well, that's fucking not cool. let's not do that often.
Oh, man.
Like, damn, you think that's crazy? You should see when we fuck.
I mean, they don't even have to bring forth the Fantastic Four in some of these movies. They could totally do, like, the Mole Man's monsters and have them, like cameos in the background and shit. They can do the Negative Zone,
They could do a lot with the Negative Zone.
Annihilus, you know? Blastar. I mean, those Blastars are kind of...
They still haven't introduced Star... is it Star Hawk? Star Fox? Whatever his name is?
Yeah, Star Fox. Yeah, that's... Thanos' brother.
They still haven't introduced him.
I wonder who they're going to get to play. They need to introduce him. He's a funny character.
They really should.
He's basically, if anybody's ever seen Jessica Jones, he's a lot like Kilgrave, whereas Kilgrave's powers work through pheromones he puts out, that's like a virus, and infects people and makes them do whatever he tells them to do. Star Fox just has like psionic powers of manipulation, so he'll tell you things like, "Oh, you're great. No, you're awesome. You know, you're so cool. Like when you went and like opened that door for me right there and let me out."
That's what they're changing Ebony Maw, though. I read up on it. They're changing Ebony Maw to do that.
What is this? What?
He won't have. He's not really a magician. He technically doesn't have magic powers. He just has like a weird telekinetic ability of manipulation. It's really weird.
It's
like
lame.
So he'll be able to just talk to Doctor Strange and be like, "Hey, remember that time you stabbed yourself with a bunch of glass shards?"
Oh.
And then he'll just be like, "Ah."
I don't like it.
Yeah.
They can do Blade. We can do a real Ghost Rider, like a really good Marvel.
The Agents
Ghost
of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Rider.
Ghost Rider was cool and all, but it's not what we know as Ghost Rider.
Precisely.
So I think.
Well, that's the thing too.
Well, I think if they killed off the one in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we'd be in a lot better standing for that. Like, we'd have a much better chance of getting it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be sweet if, like, at the... I think it would have been sweet if they introduced at the end of Defenders, like, fucking Tony shows up and he's like, "Hey, you guys did really good bringing down the Hand, you know, we've just been watching you." And, like, Tony's like, "I'll be in touch." And then they showed up in Infinity War. But I don't know what it is. Like, Disney just doesn't want to bring it. Even though, like, the Defenders did well for a Netflix series. I mean, well, the individual characters. The only one that didn't was Iron Fist.
That sucked.
And even,
that was horrible. That was god awful.
Like, even then, no one was really expecting Iron Fist to be the best of them. I mean...
It was so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a comic book geek. I've read a lot of different things, and Iron Fist, like...
I wish they had him in the classic outfit, like, for real.
He needed to be in his costume. He needed to actually, like,
he just wears
use his powers a lot more.
He just wears a t-shirt unbuttoned.
The first, like, 4 episodes, he didn't even use his powers.
Really. Yeah, he's just walking around like a bum.
It was him trying to, like, prove who he was and get his
people are just
back.
arresting him.
Yeah, get his list of powers back. You know, it was just, I don't know, like...
They're like, "I don't even care if it is Danny at this point. I'm just trying to, like, get this dude out of my face."
I just didn't even care.
It was just so bland.
I know, and I forced myself to watch it because I wanted to see what was going on.
Danny Rand, more like Danny Bland.
It's funny what you just said. It's just funny. There's really interesting characters like, you could do, obviously, Absorbing Man. It'd be kind of neat to do. You could do it like...
these bad flashbacks to the Hulk where they made his dad a
I know,
man.
but I mean, you could do like a tragic story with him. Well, actually, Sandman. You could do a tragic story with Sandman because it really is a tragic story. Rhino. Tragic.
I'm glad they gave him a tragic story in the original Spider-Man trilogy.
It was based on his comic book thing. I mean, but you have Rhino. Rhino's got a sick wife.
Yeah,
she's dying, and in order to afford the surgery, he goes and.
Like Rob Spanks and shit.
Well, he agrees to take this, experimental thing, turns him into a rhino, fuses the rhino outfit to his skin, drives him kind of crazy, but that's why he wants to run back. So you have that weird kind of anti-hero tragic
I've
thing.
seen a lot of people were upset about the fucking Amazing Spider-Man version of Rhino that they tried to introduce at the end, where he's like in a mech suit, and I'm like, do you want this guy to look like a fucking rhino with a human face?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
God, I would hate that.
I want to see him in it.
Paul Giamatti is not the last white rhino.
It's going to happen. He could be last rhino.
He's not the
It'd be
last
awesome.
God
damn it. Let's tell her they're pushing like Asbestos Man or something like that.
Oh my God.
You know, I'm kind of curious. Was not Harrison Ford?
What are you thinking
Who
about?
the fuck played Rocky?
Sylvester Stallone.
Was Sylvester Stallone supposed to be Vance Astro?
He was in the original Guardians.
And I don't understand why, because he doesn't look...
Him, who was it? Ving Rhames?
Yeah.
What's his name? The magician dude. He was one of the Sorcerer Supremes at some point.
Yeah, oh, that dude, yeah.
There was the glass dude. Or maybe he was ice or something, but like...
It was a crystal or...
Yeah, that guy. There was a few of them. I think they all have a chance of showing up at least in Avengers 4. Because it was kind of odd that they just showed up.
I just don't understand, because he's supposed to be like freaking like 20-something. And a descendant of
They made
Captain
him like
America.
an old Ravager.
He's supposed to be a descendant of Captain America in like the 31st freaking century or some shit like that. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, they're sometimes they do stuff like that. I'm like, you might want to use him later. Don't use him now. You know, like, yeah. You got lots of interesting characters. Did they use Diamondback already? They did, and they.
What if it is? What if he is from that fucking long ago, and he just wanted Yondu to go get his fucking grandson, or great grandson? Oh.
But he's not his dad. No. He's not Star-Lord's dad.
No, I'm saying like, you said something about Sylvester's supposed to be like Cap's.
Oh, well, it's true. And if
That's what I'm saying.
If Cap
If
is
Cap's
Star-Lord's
that's
grandfather,
it. He's like, get my great grandson. He's on Earth right now.
That'd be funny.
But I mean, we know that it's all about ego, so it's that's a shame.
I think they can do a lot of fun stuff. I don't know. We don't know. It's all speculation. But those theories that we kind of looked at the beginning of this podcast, which was 18 years ago, were really interesting. I think they're pretty sweet.
I think some of them have major holes, but they're all fun.
Oh yeah,
you know.
That's the thing. No matter how they cut it, no matter what they do, it's not going to be Justice League.
Yeah, it can't be.
It's not going to be a hodgepodge,
no.
Chopped up mess.
It can't possibly be Justice League.
I mean, we covered that in the last podcast, but
yeah,
it's not going to be a mess. They have everything planned out so meticulously.
Well, I seen somebody that was pissed. They were like, I don't feel like the Phase 3 movies are leading into Infinity War well enough. Like, Phase 1, it was all clearly leading to Avengers. Phase 2, it was like clearly leading to the events that led to Ultron. But Phase 3, it's like all individual stories about the heroes and nothing about the looming threat of Thanos. And I'm sitting there like, dude, it's not, at this point, Infinity War is not about the culmination of Phase 3. Infinity War is about the culmination of all three phases. Since Iron Man 1, we have seen these characters develop. Since Avengers 1, we've seen Thanos. Like, we've watched Thanos in the distance for 6 years now.
Yeah, and at first he was just like, he had like a minor speaking part. Or didn't he?
He had one line.
Yeah, and then at the end he turned and smiled with teeth the size of like dinner plates.
Yeah. That actor, I'm so glad they didn't rehire him.
I know.
Big ass face.
That was weird.
Then they brought him back for Guardians like twice. Like 2 scenes I think they had him in. They had the shit with Ronan, and they also had him at the end of Age of Ultron. I guess I'll have to do this myself.
That was neat.
Shit, I mean...
I liked when in Ragnarok, and what's her name was walking through, and she saw the Infinity Gauntlet, and she's like, fake, smacked it away.
Yeah, because it was the right-handed one.
Yeah,
I think it would have been sweet if it wasn't fake, though. If Odin had his own, just in case.
Oh,
I mean, like, well, because it's all convenient. Like, Odin dies, Thanos shows up. How many years did Thanos have to do his shit, you know?
And well, the thing is, don't forget, the Odin of the MCU is a lot weaker and less powerful than the Odin of the Marvel Universe. He's not technically a typical god. He can't, like, you know, he doesn't have that power spec, you know, that the...
See, I don't know if they took away the Odin Force or not. That's why I'm still trying to figure that out.
They haven't spoken about it.
They haven't mentioned it once.
And that's the thing, that they would have if they were going to include it. They would talk about the Odin Force.
I feel like as a name, that's just a bad name.
It's a cop-out, too. It's a cop-out. So, I mean...
He has a power. What is his power? Odin Force.
Everything.
Like,
well, freaking the Marvel Universe, there's a couple different ways they've gone about it. There's been Ragnarok like 3 times now.
Yeah.
And then you've got the Universe X reality where Odin turns out to not really be Odin. Mm-hmm. He was just an old man. These 3 aliens came down, 3 extra-dimensional entities came down, and they saw in his mind, like, they were so impressionable that he looked at this Viking, whatever person, whatever, looked up, saw these aliens, and in that instant, they looked into his mind and were captured and turned into what he believed to be reality. So he basically created Surtur out of one of them. Like, Loki was basically one of their... Something like that. All the Asgardians didn't really exist. They were all figments of that old man's imagination. I mean, because he had the powers of the creatures, he never died. It's really weird. It
kind of makes you wonder of, like...
But that was a weird universe.
Yeah. It kind of makes you wonder, though, like... Gods in Marvel's universe are the creation of man, ultimately. Like, man's faith is what drives...
Well, yeah, exactly right. Except for Odin, like the Asgardians
Odin built his own. Like, see, I feel like to an extent, people believed in Odin. People believed in Thor. People believed in them. But then he was like, shit, they're not believing us anymore. So he creates the Asgardians, and the Asgardians don't need to see to believe. They're there.
Exactly. And that's the thing too. Is like different. You know, the different gods have different power sets in different universes, but in the MCU, they never directly linked belief to power. You know,
right.
Like the Olympian gods in the comic book versions don't have that either. Like, I think they did at some point, but they kind of disconnected themselves and sought a different way to get power. The Skrulls in the Marvel comic universe, they relied on their deities for the bulk of their will to do stuff. Like, when Hercules went in and literally killed the Skrull gods in those comic books, the Skrulls lost the invasion. He was mainly responsible because all of a sudden they lost the will to fight.
Right.
They didn't want to fight anymore. They had nothing to believe in. They all just laid down and died, basically. At least it's the way it was kind of written. So,
no, it's real interesting, and I think I just refuse to think that Thanos showing up after Odin dies is a coincidence. Like, Odin dies and Asgard fucking blows up, like, days, minutes, hours, however long it is later. Thanos shows up and he's like, oh, time to claim all 6 stones now. Like, how much time has he really had? I mean, at one point he had the Mind Gem. Why didn't he show up to Earth and just mud stomp everybody?
Thanos had the Mind Gem?
Yeah, because he gave the scepter to Loki. The Chitauri scepter was in Thanos' possession. Thanos sent Loki to Earth with the Mind Gem in hopes that, I'm giving you an Infinity Stone. Use this Infinity Stone to get me 2 Infinity Stones. That was the prerequisite deal.
So you think he was using... Yeah, because he knew that the Mind Stone alone wasn't powerful enough to do much.
But he knew he could probably persuade the humans to just give him the Tesseract. That's why he sent Loki, because he's the mischief guy. Well, he could just teleport and do all this shit on his own already.
And Thanos' plan was to use one stone to find another stone.
Exactly.
To find another stone. That's interesting. I never really thought
And that's kind of, I feel like that's kind of why Loki hands over the Space Stone too, at the end, in the beginning of Infinity War, because he's kind of like, well, you asked me to go get you the Space Stone, here you fucking go, like.
That's interesting.
But he lost the Mind Stone now, and it's Vision's head.
Exactly.
So it's like,
I don't know what they're gonna do with that. I forgot about that. I forgot Thanos had that.
Thanos already had one, and he chose to send Loki, which is why he says in Age of Ultron, I'm doing this shit myself. And he puts his hand through the gauntlet.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. I think he was worried about somebody else actually possessing the Power Stone and being able to like confront him,
right,
and kick his ass. But once he realized that it was on Xandar,
I feel like they never knew though. Like,
I think he didn't know as much about the stones as people think. I think he knew what they were.
Do,
yeah, but I don't think he knew exactly what they looked like or where they were.
I know for almost fact though he didn't know where the Power Stone is, because if Peter Quill can wander through a cave and find an orb and it just happens to house the Power Stone, there's no way Thanos was just gonna let that sit if he knew it was there.
Exactly.
He would have stomped that fucking cave into oblivion until he found that orb.
So he didn't know. Yeah, I don't think he's quite as all-knowing in this universe as he was in, or the MCU as he is in the Marvel universe. He's definitely not.
He's like a warrior on his quest.
Well, as far as we know, he's not mystically as powerful. He's not like a master of mysticism and magic.
He doesn't seem like
the Marvel universe. He's a weird mix of eternal power, and like the Eternals from Titan.
Yeah.
And then raw physical strength left over from his deviant DNA.
Yeah.
And then also, he's literally studied every form of magic you could imagine.
Right.
So that's why his ships and stuff are powered not only by magic but also by technology. He's really a dangerous foe. But the movie universe, Thanos, I think, is, like you said, he's a warrior on a quest. I feel
like they dumbed him down they don't want him to be too overpowered because they haven't made the heroes too overpowered.
Yeah.
The team isn't even established at this point.
And you're not looking at a Planet Hulk point either, like where Hulk's stomping the ground and causing 8.5 Richter scale earthquakes.
Right. Mantis get to making him angry. He might be able to cause some shit, but
that'd be cool.
As of right now, Hulk is just, 9 foot tall dude with
2-year-old brain.
Right.
You're a bad friend.
Fucking
baby arms. Leave. Go again, baby arms. Leave again. I love that. All right, folks. We're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
We're going to have some more theories hopefully soon. Motor City Comic Con is coming up at the end of May. Middle May, I should say. It's the 18th, 19th, and 20th.
Yeah.
If you're in the Detroit metro area, please come visit. I will be there.
Shoot, that's a month and a half
bells
away.
On. I know. Woo. Month and a half from this point.
So excited.
If you get the chance, you need to come. It's a lot of fun. There's an after party on Saturday. The celebrities get crazy. It's very, very interesting to watch. All the kids from IT are going to be there this year, which is kind of fun. I'm not anticipating them getting drunk at the after party or even being there. But it would be unfortunate if they were. It'd be very unfortunate. But it'll be fun. And Val Kilmer will be there. Yay, Matt Martin.
Yay, worst Batman ever.
Oh, Nipples. Bat Nipples? Was he Bat Nipples?
I think he was.
Oh, God.
I think out of all of them, I think he was the Bat Nipples.
That's not nice.
Which is funny, because you beat out George Clooney for Bat Nipples.
It's horrible. I want all the copies of all of the films that involve him and nipples. I want all of them.
I want his nipples. My nipples.
Where are they? Where's the girl? Next time we're going to talk some Walking Dead, because I want to discuss the shittiness of the season. And
you're crazy.
He's convinced it's fine.
You're crazy.
He is a fanboy.
I really am.
He's a DC fanboy.
I'm a nerd.
And you are a nerd. You're a poor man's fan is what you are if you think that.
I am a nerd.
We'll get into it. All right.
See ya.
Bye.